Okay, so welcome back to the layout and another quick update. Again, I've not had a lot of opportunity to do too much, but just share with you a few things and where we're at. So first thing I want to share with you today and what I've been working on is some of the signaling. So gotta be honest, it's a pain in the proverbial butt because lots of soldering and these little magnetic wires. Anyway, there's my SE8C with a bunch of ribbon wires coming off, and you can run 4 heads per ribbon wire, and I have over 40 signal heads, so I'm gonna have to get another SE8C. But anyway, what we've done is we've actually got some of the signals working. So here, just on my different blocks, another signal there, searchlight signals, so they look pretty good. If we trundle down, oops, sorry about that, nearly tripped over. If we trundle down this end, let's see here, got a signal just before we go into the tunnel, and I'm gonna have to have another one on this side, and that's the signal just in the box. Haven't actually put it in yet, so it is a real pain to be soldering all these up, and with these BLMA signals, they don't actually, apart from the common, you don't actually know which wire belongs to which bulb. So I've got this logic rail signal tester. Little 9-volt battery's got the resistors built in, but you have to go through first to figure out which wires are which. Obviously you only have to find 2 of the 3, because obviously the third one is whatever's left. So got the signal mass all up and running. It's going to look pretty cool. I've kept the little repeaters on the Digitrax signal masts, because what I'm going to do is to have those showing through the side of the fascia, and then I'll be able to see the aspect of the signal without actually looking at the signal, so it'll come through the side. So I've got to figure out how to do that, probably a little bit of perspex pipe or plastic pipe, and off to go. So here, as you can see, we're also just starting to build some frameworks for the next piece of tunnel scenery before we zoom off down the branch there. So just stuck this together, no more nails, and some insulation foam. And yeah, we'll just start to fill that in and carve some rocks, and then we'll try to recreate what we've got on what we've previously done here. So not much more here really. Painted the road up. Most of my time, other than doing the signals, has just been doing the loco shed over here. So as you can see, I've started putting some of the scenery, trying to get some nice depth. The rocks and stones are falling off the bottom of the car, swept up from the garage floor. Stick them in the microwave to get rid of any bugs and such like, but then sift them and then straight onto the track. So I also plastered the hard standing using hydrocal. Don't know if that's coming up the right color here. It looks a little bit light actually, so I'm gonna have to play around a little bit with the color there. Obviously you fill in the plaster and then dig enough space for the wheels to come through. The little black squares there are for some grates, drainage grates. As you can see on the roof here, I've got some little drainage grates that I'll use to cover those over. The other thing I've done is I've put these yard lights in. So I bought these off eBay. They are from China, and extraordinarily cheap, as you can imagine, coming from China. I do tend to like to buy local, but yeah, these are just if I wanted to buy local Canadian made, then it's going to cost me a fortune. So I'd rather spend my money on other things. So I do try to buy locally where I can, but anyway, these are pretty good. We've not wired them in yet, but yeah, and started to ballast as well. Got a couple of propane tanks here I'm just starting to put in, so some weathered skips, as you can see. Use some DPM walls to scratch build this workshop. Got a light building there, and I got a semi with a Jordan spreader on the back of it. So the other thing I've just started to do is I've got this wood column which actually is holding up the stairs, so I can't really cut it out. So what I've just started to do is I bought a signal box, a control tower, and I've actually built it around the pole to try to minimize the impact of having that in there. So when you get down to this level, you know, the pole is not so obvious. Clearly I'm going to paint that bottom of the pole black so that when it shines through the windows you'll be able to see just black in there. But I just fit it up there. I had to cut a hole in the roof, obviously, for the pole to get through. But yeah, and then my favorite job of all, I've started to do some ballasting, and that was sarcastic. I actually really do not like ballasting. So I've just started in this engine shed area. A few little details like a pallet sitting there. Again, got some rocks and stuff from underneath the car after a cold winter. Yeah, this yard area it's just black. That's just a base color at the moment, so I'll go over that with some grey to make it look more like asphalt. And again, just some foam under here to give it some relief, so it's not just clump foliage on flat. It's actually more of a 3D view, and apparently we're throwing pallets away over here too. So I guess the final thing that I've been spending some time is I've actually started to do the fascia. So as you can see, got quite a bit of the fascia work done. Coming around this side, I've still got to do some shaping, but generally you can get the drift. Makes it a much neater. I haven't decided what colour I'm going to paint it. On my last railroad it was a dark green, but there's a lot of dark green on forest, so I'm already. So I'm gonna think of maybe a different colour for it this time. I've still got up to this side, just about here, and again, as you go down the Thompson River Canyon, you can see the fascia's making things look nice and neat. Cutouts here because this will be a road that actually runs parallel to the river, and this is all going to be river down through here. But obviously I'm not going to do that yet because I've got the a lot of the wiring to do. EDL 168 for the block detection, and then as I said before, the SE8C, and then the LocoNet comes in here with the Digitrex. So basically I'm not using Digitrex for power. I've got the Prodigy Advanced Squared, and actually got the wireless one on order. So that should be here soon. So these are the signal masts that we're using. Again, Digitrex. So you know, 2 heads for each one, and where those little brass tabs are, that's where you solder on the magnetic wires from each of the signals. So it's painstaking work. It's there's no way you can rush it. It's a decent soldering iron, decent heat, some decent solder, and off to go. It's just about being patient. Maybe one last thing I'll share with you here is again, so I've got a power board. So as you can see, I'm running it from a PC power unit. So all those black wires there, those are the earths, and then coming out of here I've got 5 volt, 3 volt, and some fuses. So I can run all my accessories from just this cheap and cheerful solution, and very clean power that comes out of it. Haven't had any issues with it yet. The signals are all lit up, and all the lighting will be run off this as well. So yep, so it's I'm not a fan of Digitrex when it comes to the actual controllers. It's way too complicated as far as I'm concerned. The MRC one, you know, is much more simple. It's really easy to understand, and if I forget anything, the instructions are on the back of each of the handsets, so it's kind of cool. But it just shows that you can the signaling system from Digitrax and the block detection piece is very, very good. So I'm marrying the best of breed, really. So I've got one of the, a good controller for me, and signaling from Digitrax, and the LocoNet here will be the interface between the two. So, yep. Again, just you can see the fascia running down here. A little scenic session there that I can now start to put the shrubs in and paint the little culvert. Yeah, it's coming on. I'm not a lot done, but a lot of these things actually do take quite a bit of time. I've also been experimenting doing my own graffiti with a paint pen. Long way to go yet, but I'm kind of tired of buying the same graffiti that everybody else has got from the decals, things like this, and I don't want to see the same decals on other people's railway as on my own. So the more I can create my own graffiti, which is a real, whatever you think of graffiti, it's an art form as far as I'm concerned, and the styles are quite amazing that you see on the rails these days. So what I'm going to try to keep doing is practice and do some more of this graffiti stuff as we move forward, so it's unique to me. And what I'm using here for that is these Sharpie brush tip paint pens. And the downside, of course, is there's no white there, so I have to buy a white one separately. So yeah, so I think that's it. Oh, another little tip: if you buy the little chewing gum pods, my family seems to like chewing gum a lot. These are really, really awesome for keeping your scenery material in, rather than the plastic bags that it comes in. So I'm keeping my scenery material in these. Obviously, the front opens with a nice little shaker. Gives you good control over what you're doing on the layout. Gives you nice control. So that's why I've started to experiment a little bit with some of this ground cover. That stone there was collected by my grandson, so it's pride of place on the front of the layout. So getting him interested in the hobby really quickly. So yeah, so things are coming on. Like I say, not as fast as I'd like, but if I finish it, I don't know what I'd be doing. So stay tuned. Be really interested in any comments on what colour this concrete really should be. I mean, the video is showing it up as very white. It's not actually as white as that in real life, and obviously I've got to put some more oil stains and such like to make it look more like these locomotives are stored here, and spilling oil like they do. Not very environmentally friendly, but it's a fact of life, and we're trying to recreate the real world here. So yeah, lots to do. I've had the chance to run some trains as well, which is kind of cool. I mustn't forget why I'm really building this thing in the first place, and that is to run my fleet of locomotives. So yeah, so I love you and leave you. As always, any comments are welcomed. Any suggestions, anything to help me do this a bit better, will all be taken. I treat feedback as a gift. So please feel free to comment and let me know what you think. And I'll just leave you with this shot of the awesome BLMA searchlight signals, which I've now got. I mean, they're all in position red because the computer's not actually talking to them yet, but we'll be using JMRI to control the signals. And I gotta admit, I'm not a computer whiz, so I might struggle when the time comes, but hey, it's just nice to see the signals at last, at least start to come to life. Okay, so that's it. I'll try to get another video up next month, and in the meantime, be safe.